Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are live for the DFS show on this wonderful Friday. We got a giant slate to go over, and we're going to do just that. But before we do, come join us at LineStar. We do have a free trial option. Take a peek for free. You can go through the app stores, Android or iOS, download us, get 7 days free. It is a great way to try us out, and then come join us for NFL season, which starts in 3 weeks. Great time to join us now. There's also, if you want to just go out and pay for it, $39.99 per month, or half price if you want to do the yearly option at $240. Thank you guys for joining us. Bulletproof, glad you're here. Odell Brown. Yeah, I know it's hard to catch them when you work, and unfortunately, it's hard for me to do it at times outside of working hours due to life and parenthood and all that. Also, shout out to Your Athletics. I do like them today. So, Brian's Town service, where can we find Shannon? I am not sure. We wish her the best. She's just no longer with us. That's all I know and can say, really. But enjoyed working with her in the past. And now let's jump in to this big time slate we got here. So we will start off by the perfect lineups from yesterday on both FanDuel and on DraftKings, and then the winning lineups, and then jump into today's plays, both the pitchers and stacks to consider. Pitchers yesterday, Erod, 7,700 in Coors, went nuts. The pay-up options didn't do too much. Tanner Bybee did well. Erod did well. We got a two-man Arizona stack, two-man Braves, and a few one-offs. 33-1 was the salary used, 286.6 was the lineup score, and TCYRS had 21.4 and took home 10K. They had Tanner Bybee, got it done. He's been better at home. The ceiling was there for the play. He was moderately priced, 12% owned, so moderately owned as well. And then his lineup, we had a two-man Atlanta stack, two-man Arizona, two-man Cleveland with Nemo rounding it out there. So congrats to them for winning. And now let's take a look at the good old DK lineup here, which went Cy Elder, 23.5. Bryce Elder had a game. Eduardo Rodriguez, and then two-man Arizona, two-man Atlanta, and all one-offs from there with 47.7 and 229.1 is that score we needed. Yes, please smash that like button and, comment, subscribe. All that stuff helps quite a bit. Now, the winning lineup went to McAfee, who had 158.9. They had Erod. They had Bybee. They had that combo that was in the perfect lineup. Then they had a five-man Cleveland stack, two-man Mets, one off with DeJong. So the old 5-2-1 took it home again. I just repeat myself almost every day, it seems like, with the 5-2-1 coming through. Now, let's jump in to today's slate, see what we can come up with. A lot of games on the docket. We have 12 on both sites today. A lot of different ways to go. Colorado is obviously in play with a game total of 10. Sacramento with the Athletics and the Angels is at 10. Sorry, Colorado at 12. A lot of games at 9, 9.5, and whatnot. And let's jump into it with our high-owned pitchers of the day. Just need one more good prop for the day. Well, I will talk about the slate as a whole here. Prop show will be in about 40 minutes at 10:30, and we will get over the props. I have a ton of different props I like today for Full Send Friday. We had a decent day yesterday, so hopefully we do all right again. Unfortunately, just the big Full Send 28x play that I went for didn't cash. Now, let's get into today. So our high-owned pitchers, we got Charlie Morton at 22% owned. He is moderately owned at 8,200. Personally, I can't go here with Charlie Morton. 4.45 FIP over his last 20 is fine. 6.05 FIP over the last 5 is poor. And I just can't do this. The thing with Morton, he started the year absolutely horrendous, then went through that period that he was very, very solid. Since then, 20s has kind of been his max, and I can't really get to him at this price in the 20s. I actually like the Minnesota bats quite a bit today. And with that, I think Morton is just going a little bit over owned on, this morning ownership projections. The ownership may change throughout the day, but right now, Morton is more of a no-go for me than a play. Joe Boyle, 5,400 is popping up just because he is 5,400 in my eyes. 4.85 FIP over his full body of work. Lately, he hasn't been good, but he has shown some promise throughout his career, so I won't just throw it out, say like absolutely not because of how cheap he is. He did get up to at least 88 pitches in his last start, which was 6 days ago. It's a decent spot versus the Giants in a pitcher-friendly ballpark. He allows a lot of fly balls, but that, plays down a little bit in Oracle and San Francisco. All in all, I don't love the play. The ceiling is there for the play. So if I get a little bit, I'm fine. I'm just not going to go too hard on Joe Boyle. All right, now we're getting into guys that I will consider here. At ownership that is fine. Yusei Kikuchi, 8,800, 15% owned. What I will say about this play, I want to play both sides of this game. I think the A's are in a very good spot for a possible blow-up game, but Kikuchi is a very good pitcher. 3.86 FIP over his last 20, 3.46 over his last 5. K rates in that mid-20s. StatCast data is scary, though. 42% fly balls. We got very warm weather in Sacramento with the winds blowing out pretty much like always in Sacramento. And he's allowing 32% hard contact rate. He is a guy that can give up a lot of homers, and this is not a ballpark, you want that in. Now, versus lefties, as a whole, the A's have struggled a little bit. Been slightly better lately, but they have struggled versus lefties, and this is why I like both sides of this. If the A's are able to get to Kikuchi, then you get into that terrible bullpen too. So there is, major blow up potential for the A's, and I like them as an under-owned stack. But there's also big time upside. 22% K rate over the last 150 games versus lefties for them. The StatCast data, the BVP data, 42 plate attempts. They're only hitting 150 off them, striking out at 21%. Combined K rate is up for his price. I definitely like Kikuchi in this spot and don't mind going there at 18% ownership. Next, we got Framber Valdez. He's 10.5K. He is one of my favorite plays on this slate. Baltimore has struggled versus lefties all season long. 24% K rate. We got a 5-star alert score here. Dude has been absolutely dealing lately with a 2.19 FIP over his last 5, 2.94 over the last 20. StatCast data looks good. Matchup data looks good. BVP data is a little scary. They are hitting 396 off him in 50 plate attempts. 24% K rate though. So I would more so side with the longer data the bigger sample size data rather than this team BVP, which is only 50 plate attempts. I think that Valdez is in a great spot, and he is probably going to be one of my higher owned pitchers here. He's better at home. There's a lot of things a lot of feathers in his cap, so to speak, for today, and I definitely like Framber. Next, we got Jacob deGrom. LineStar likes him a lot, 24.18. He's our highest projected pitcher for the slate. He's in an interesting spot versus Toronto, though, who absolutely has been crushing righties lately. 317 average, 243 ISO, almost a 400 WOBA is just super, super high. Now, deGrom has been pretty good, 3.27 FIP, but he has fallen off lately with 4.88 FIP over the last 5. K rate, very solid, though. This is one I think a ton of people will gravitate here because it is deGrom, but I think it is a little bit scary of a spot. I don't mind some deGrom, but I do prefer Framber. However, the upside is there, 25.5% combined K rate. I don't mind some deGrom. I do think there are a lot of pitching options we can consider today, so I don't feel like we have to pay up for him. But I don't mind him. Do prefer Framber. Kikuchi, I like both sides as well. Now, Noah Cameron, 9.3K. He has just been consistent all season long. He's got it done. He's been good. 3.75 FIP over his full body of work with a 3.22 over the last 5. Allows a ton of fly balls. We have warm weather and winds blowing out today in Kansas City. So that, is a little worrisome. And then we have the fact the White Sox have just been good versus lefties lately. 252 average is fine. 160 ISO is fine. 324 WOBA is fine. It's one of those spots where I'm okay with going there, but I don't want a ton of him. And that's my issue. Like Valdez, I'm fine with getting a ton of. Noah Cameron, most likely outcome here, I think, is 22, 23 points. He doesn't kill you, but he also is not winning you a GPP, and that's my only issue with Cameron. All right, now let's get into some pivots. We got to talk about Sean Manaea here, 7,900. He is in a tough spot versus Seattle, but Seattle is striking out, 23.7% lefties, 4.5-star alert score, pitcher-friendly park, but high WOBA and high ISO versus lefties. Those are the biggest issues. Manaea is going to have to miss some bats. At least Seattle can strike out a lot, and he's averaging 25% more fantasy points at home. How's he been lately? Just okay. He's been pretty similar to his longer stretch, which is 4.15 FIP over his last 20 and a 25% K rate. Really, this one just comes down to how well is Manaea missing bats. He has been very good versus Seattle, and these hitters in his career with 72 plate attempts, 203 average, and 22% K rate, low ISO, low WOBA. He has missed bats versus them before. Can he do it again is the big question mark. I don't mind some Sean Manaea. 5.4% combined K rate at 7,900 is super interesting. Luis Castillo, 8,600. Guy has been pitching very, very well as of late. For that alone, I have to consider him, but this is my big warning for him. He averages 45% less fantasy points away. It's not an easiest spot. The Mets have started hitting a little bit, so it's not a comfy play, but at 8,600, a guy that can give you 30 is too cheap not to consider. All right, Aaron Savali, 6,800. This one is absolutely gross, but averaging 32% more fantasy points while away. And over the last 5, 2.38 FIP. 4.44 ERA, but that FIP has been unreal, and it comes with a 28% K rate. He's absolutely been pitching over his head lately, but can that continue one more day? It possibly can. I mean, the weather is definitely hitting weather in Kansas City today, but Savali has been pitching too good, and he's going too low owned not to consider at super low price of 6,800. I kind of would prefer him than, say, your Joe Boyle, who's going high owned and 1K cheaper. He's also been good versus Kansas City in his career. 101 plate attempts, 161 average, 4 home runs, 172 ISO, 229 WOBA. So he keeps these guys off base. He's not striking them out a lot. They are hitting him hard when they hit him, but all in all, keeps him off base. If he can limit home runs to solo shots, he has a great shot of paying off this salary. And I don't mind getting there. 22% combined K rate at his cheap price is worth it. Layden Root, 7,600. He has been extremely good. 3.15 FIP over his last 5 starts, 22% K rate. 3.69 over the longer timeline. Worrisome aspect is 50% fly balls and 35% hard contact. He is versus the Rays, who have been hitting very, very well all season long and have been very good versus righties, but have struggled over the short term. 23% K rate, 245 average, 168 ISO. I think Rupp is interesting. I'm not going to go all in on him, anything like that, but 7,600 for a guy that can get us mid-20s, and I would say probably profiles more to higher teens today, is an interesting spot, especially if he can have a real good game and get you into the 30s. Or, sorry, high 20s. 30s, I don't expect. Joey Cantillo versus the Braves. There's big time upside here. 4.09 FIP over his last 20 with a 28% K rate. Over the last 5, similar numbers, but the K rate's down a little bit. Too much hard contact, but Braves have struggled versus lefties. However, they have been much, much better versus lefties lately. This is one of those spots where you got to consider, do you want to go with the longer time frame of the Braves not being able to hit lefties, or the shorter time frame where they're hitting 265, 162 ISO, and almost 350 WOBA? While the numbers aren't drastically different, they have been overperforming their 150 last 150 game numbers. I think Cantillo is an interesting play. The only aspect that I worry about with him is he has not been efficient, has not been working deep into games, and he's 20 is his high so far this season. Now, if we go back to last year, he has a 25 and he has a 37. He can have those type of games. Just does he today? Who knows? I think the upside there is to warrant a little bit. 8K is a little pricey for him, though. And the last but not least, Chris Bassett. You guys knew I had to talk about him when he's throwing today. Look, we talk about this every time. 1, he's way better at home. 2, at 8,400, he can hit you 30. And just so happens those big games also come at home. At his price, there's just too big of a ceiling. Also, versus a team that has been struggling a little bit to hit the ball as of late. While they've done it well in the past versus Bassett, I absolutely have to have some at his price of 8,400. The ceiling is just too high for me not to consider him. Now, he hasn't faced him at home in 2 years, and when he did, he got blown up. But I'm fine going here. Bassett is just too high of a ceiling at 8,400 and going too low owned with a game total of 7.5 not to consider. So let's get over to FanDuel. Before we do, Bullet says both starting pitchers in Atlanta, Cleveland look decent. Yeah, I'm fine going to the Atlanta side of that as well. I know you play on FanDuel a lot, and I probably wouldn't do it there, but you can absolutely consider him over there. And with that, we'll take a look at where is he? Hurston Waldrop. So 2 outings so far this year, had 32 and 43. It is Atlanta. They know how to develop pitchers. The StatCast data looks good. The FIP is high. The ERA is high so far this year, or over the last 5. More of this is due to the year prior's numbers where he just got absolutely blown up. So really this FIP number, this ERA, I would just throw totally out the window and not consider it. The only data that we really have to go off is the StatCast, which is still just, two outings. But all in all, I'm fine with a little bit. He's done well enough. He's a decent prospect, and I don't mind getting there whatsoever. Eddie Perez asking, when are we going to do a best ball draft? We got to do one next week for sure. We're getting down to crunch time. With the transition of going live and stuff, I just to put it off a little bit. We will do some next week for sure. We need to. We're crunch time. We're only 3 weeks away from the start of NFL. Pretty wild. All right. Now, Framber Valdez, Jacob deGrom, 2 highest owned. They probably should be, but I would say don't get scared of getting different. 9,600 for Kikuchi going low owned is very interesting. Bassett, 8,500. Interesting. Manaea only 8K. If he can be efficient and work deep in the game, he has the ceiling to produce. So I don't mind that one as well. Don't love the 9,500 Castillo price tag. Don't mind getting a little bit of him, but I'm not going to be going hard there. For the most part, it is going to be Bassett, maybe Cameron, Kikuchi, Manaea, deGrom, and Valdez for me. I will have the most deGrom. Valdez. I'm going to eat some of that chalk on FanDuel. Now, let's get over to some stacks and round this out. Gio going for 5-start quality starts at home. Yeah, Gio is always in play. He's like Bassett. My issue is 8,800 is just hard for me to want to pay for him, but the ceiling is there. You can absolutely go there. Miami is also hitting well. They just had a great couple days, and I think Giolito probably comes down to earth over the last 5 with these quality starts. 6.55 FIP, FIP of 5 over the longer run. It's not a super comfy spot to me, but he can do it. Absolutely. Now, let's get into the stacks as we talked about. So our high-owned stacks of the day, we got Arizona and Colorado. We don't need to overthink this one, just like we didn't yesterday. We played a ton of Arizona, played a ton of Colorado, and I think it's fine to go back there. The one thing I will say is the hitting weather in Colorado is not as good as it was yesterday. We have winds going across the field instead of blowing out, but it is still warm. The ball's still going to travel. It is still Arizona. And then you throw in the fact that Tanner Gordon's not very good. That bullpen is terrible. The splits are in Arizona's favor. Give me some Arizona. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm fine playing plenty of them. Our highest projected, Arizona's all over it. And our highest value, we got Colorado sprinkling in here, as well as Texas. Chris Bassett versus Texas. He hasn't been in great form lately. We know he's a boom bust guy. Yes, he's way better at home, but be careful because he can also get blown up. I don't mind a little bit of Texas. I do prefer the Bassett side personally, but don't mind some Texas. Also, don't mind Miami stacks. Giolito's another guy, boom bust guy. These boom bust guys are always fun to target. While your lineup, might end up in last, it can also end up in first. And those are the spots that we really like to go after. Giolito's another one. 6.55 FIP over his last 5. Miami offense has been doing very well. Colorado versus Paft. Paft came back down to earth after he was pitching very well. 4.34 FIP over the last 20. Terrible bullpen behind him. I'm absolutely fine going there. High ceiling plays. We got the A's, Toronto, and Dodgers. Dodgers are likely going about against Randy Vasquez, who I personally do not think is very good whatsoever. However, he just keeps getting it done. So it's not, real easy spot for the Dodgers. With that being said, these Dodger Padres games for the last couple of years have mostly ended like 4-6, 5-3, 7-3. There has been offense, and stacks are definitely warranted in this situation, especially against the Dodgers, because that bullpen has been giving it up lately. They lost the last two with late inning comebacks by the Angels. So A's versus Kikuchi. I already talked about how I liked that play. We don't need to go back into it more. Did it when we were covering Kikuchi. And then our high leverage, Seattle versus Manaea. They hit the ball hard. Manaea can give up a home run or two. It makes some sense to go there, even though I like it. Now, clicking on the teams tab, 6.8 implied total for Arizona is extremely high. Like yesterday, going to be probably hard to get away from them totally. I'm going to be playing some. Not going to go incredibly hard because I do think for a 12-game slate, they are very chalky, but I'm going to have some for sure. Dodgers, 5.3. I think you got to. Colorado at 5.2. I personally would kind of favor Colorado than the Dodgers in this one, but I like both plays. The Angels at 5.1 and the A's at 4.9. I think this game could definitely battle the Colorado game. I'm going to have a lot of stacks of the A's or the Angels. I very much like Detroit today as well, as I like Minnesota. Both of those games are both those teams are interesting. Detroit game total 5. KC game total 5. Boston at 4.7 versus Sandy Alcantara. Very interesting. They've been hitting very well lately, and Alcantara has been bad away. Yankees at 4.7 in St. Louis. I'm fine going there, as I am with Minnesota. I do like this Minnesota play. I think it's going to go a little under-owned versus Charlie Morton, who can give up some big hits. Don't mind getting some Houston. Mets versus Castillo, who's not as good while away, is interesting. I think Cleveland, you can play a little bit versus Atlanta. Then if we come down, I think you got to consider the Padres as well as the Dodgers, like I've said. And San Francisco at least carries some interest. As we come down here, I think Seattle's probably the favorite kind of lower implied total play, as well as Texas and Miami. And that's going to do it for us today. I will be back in 15 minutes with the prop show. We're going to get right after it. I have like 8 props or something to throw out today, and the home run call. You guys have a good one. We'll be back with more next week. Let's get after it. See you guys soon. Peace.